Hey guys, good morning. How's it going? I just want to go over a few more of these factoring problems. So just as a quick little review of what we did yesterday. So for number 13 over here, what we were doing is we were listing, hey, what are the coefficients? We were calling them A, B, and C. Our coefficient for A was 1. Our coefficient for B was -6. And our coefficient for C was 8. And our rule was that if A was equal to 1, then we can kind of continue. So if A doesn't equal 1, there's some other things that we're going to have to do. Once we saw that A was equal to 1, we were looking for the factors of this number, the C term, that add up to the B term. In this case, since our B term is negative, we just need to kind of look at the negative factors. So -1 and -8 and -2 and -4. And these were our factors right here. Now, if you guys are comfortable with this, you don't have to sit there and list out every factor. So I know a lot of you guys are very good with numbers. You know your addition, you know your subtraction, you know your multiplication. You can tell me that the two numbers that multiply to make 8 and add up to -6 are -2 and -4. All you have to do from there is rewrite this in factored form. So say b minus 2 with the -2 from here, and b minus 4. Okay, and this is factored form. This was standard form. Okay, and all the examples that we looked at yesterday, A was equal to 1, A was equal to 1, A was equal to 1, A was equal to 1. In fact, that's actually the name of this sheet. If A does not equal 1, then there's some different things that we can do. The first thing that you want to see, we'll take a look at number 15, and the first thing you want to do is you want to see if you can make A equal to 1, okay? So just quick little side note, if we think about it, if I said, hey, what are the factors of 24? Okay, so just as a side note, what are the factors of 24? Well, we could say that the factors of 24 are 2 and 12, right? That's one set of factors. But we could also say that it's 2 times 2 times 6, right? If we broke 12 down to 2 times 6, we can break 12 down to other numbers. If we wanted to, we could do, what we refer to as a prime factorization, right? We could break it down until it's nothing but prime numbers, right? But the more important thing for us is that numbers don't just have to have 2 factors. They can have 3 factors, 4 factors, 5 factors, and things like that, okay? And that's what's going to happen when we try and factor some of these other things, is that they're going to have other factors, okay? So the first thing you want to check out, so here A does not equal 1. Here A equals 2, B equals 6, and C is equal to -108. Don't get freaked out by that number. We're going to deal with that. The first thing that we kind of want to look at is, are all of these numbers divisible by A? Okay, in this case, are they all divisible by 2? And it's pretty easy to tell when it's 2 because they're all even numbers, right? 2 is an even number, 6 is an even number, and 108 is an even number. So before we even start doing anything, the first thing we can do is we can factor out a 2, okay? And we're going to divide all these numbers by 2. So 2 divided by 2 is going to be 1. So we're just going to write 1n squared. Remember, there's a 1 there, but we don't write it, okay? 6 divided by 2 is going to be 3. And -108 divided by 2 is going to be -54, okay? Now, if you think about it, what do? We just kind of undid the distributive property that we were talking about the other day, right? If we multiplied this 2 back in, we'd get 2n squared plus 6n minus 108, okay? Now that we've got this, we have a new kind of A term in here where A is equal to 1, which is what we wanted. And so all the examples on this page, A might not equal 1 from the beginning, but we're going to be able to make A equal to 1, okay? So now, once you've got it this way, it's pretty much back onto normal. Now with this new thing on the inside, A is equal to 1, B is equal to 3, and C is equal to negative 54. Okay, so I'm looking for what are my factors of negative 54 that add up to 3. Now again, knowing that this is a negative number, I know I'm going to have a negative factor and a positive factor. So I also know that my positive factor is going to have to be bigger because when they add up, it's going to end up being positive. Okay, so I'm going to list them all out. I don't know that I'm necessarily going to do this for all of these because we've got a bit of a time schedule that we have to stick to today. But let's start. We've got negative 1 and 54. That doesn't work. We've got negative 2 and 27. That doesn't work. Negative 3 and 18. Right? No, that doesn't work. 4. Does 4 go into 54? I don't. No, it does not. 5 does not go in. I believe. Does 6 go in? Yes. And negative 6 is going to go in 9 times. Yes. Okay. And that's going to be our factors right there. So these two numbers multiply to make negative 54 and add up to 3. So you're still going to write it in factored form. The one thing we have to remember is this 2 has to come down with us. So it's 2n minus 6 times n, and it was a positive 9 plus 9. And that's us right there. So again, like we were saying before with the example of 24, we have 1, 2, 3 factors of this number, and that's totally fine. Okay? So it's not always going to be the case where you can make a equal to 1, but it's always a good thing to check before you start using some of the other methods. We're going to go over some of these other methods, and they are complicated. They're a bit more complicated than finding the factors of one number that add up to another number. So this is usually a good thing to check out before we start to get to work on some of those other things. Okay, so let's take a look at a few more of these, and then I'll set you guys loose for the day. Number 16, again, right off the bat, 8 is not equal to 1. A is equal to 5. So are all these numbers divisible by 5? Yeah, of course they are, right? You guys know how to do that. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to factor out a 5. So 5 divided by 5 is going to be 1, which is what we wanted. 10 divided by 5 is going to be 2. And over here, 20 divided by 5 is going to be 4. Okay? So A is now equal to 1. B is now equal to 2. And C is now equal to 4. Okay? So what I'm looking for are what are my factors of 4 that add up to 2. And you're going to run into a problem here that I have 1 and 4 and 2 and 2. And none of my factors add up to 4. So this is as factored as you can get. So we can't say before we could say it was not factorable, but this is as factorable as it gets. We factored out a 5. There's nothing else we can do to this, okay? There will be things we can do with it later with some of the other methods. This one particularly when you guys get to the 11th grade, so you've got some time to worry about that later. But for right now, are there any factors of 4 that add up to 2? No, there's not. So this is as factors as it's going to get, okay? So continuing down, we'll do 17, we'll do 20, 21, and 22, I think, and we'll call it a day. So for 17, again, does A equal 1? No. But are these two numbers divisible by 2? Yeah, they're both even numbers, right? So first thing we do is we're going to factor out a 2, right? And what do I have left? Well, 2 divided by 2 is 1. 11 divided by 2, 22 divided by 2 is going to be 11. And 30 divided by 2, 60 divided by 2 is going to be 30. Sorry, guys. So now we've got a new thing. A is now equal to 1. B is now equal to 11. And C is now equal to 30. So what are my factors of 30? They're going to add up to 11. Well, it's not 1 and 30. It's not 2 and 15. I've got 3 and 10. Okay. So again, do I have any factors of 30? Do I have any more that I'm missing? Do I have any factors of 30 that add up to 11? I don't have any. So we can stop right there. Okay. This again is as factored as this one's going to get. Okay. Number 20. Let's take a look. Again, A is equal to 5. So is this divisible by 5, this divisible by 5, and this divisible by 5? Yeah. So we're going to factor out of 5. 5 divided by 5 is going to be 1. Negative 30 divided by 5 is going to be negative 6. And 40 divided by 5 is going to be positive 8. Good. So now A is equal to 1, B is equal to negative 6, and C is equal to 8. So are there any factors of 8 that add up to negative 6? Well, again, since it's a negative 6, I only need to look at the negative factors. So negative 1, negative 8, that doesn't work. Negative 2 and negative 4, we can stop right there. Okay? So negative 2 times negative 4 adds up to positive 8. So multiplies to make positive 8 and adds up to negative 6. So what am I going to say? V minus 2 and V minus 4. Please don't forget to write this 5 on the outside. Okay, it's very easy to get caught in the things we were doing yesterday and forget the things that we need to add on to that for today. So just make sure you add out that the negative 5 on the outside. Okay, perhaps we'll just do the next 3. We'll call it. Okay. Over here again, A is not equal to 1. So what are we going to do? We're going to factor out that number and see what happens. Well, 2 divided by 2 is going to be 1. 2 divided by 2 is also going to be 1. And negative 4 divided by 2 is going to be negative 2. So A is now 1, B is now 1, and C is now negative 2. Again, what are my factors of negative 2 that add up to 1? I believe that's going to be 2 times negative 1. Right? 2 times negative 1 multiplies to make negative 2 and adds up to make 1. Right? So when we write this in factored form, we're going to put 2 parentheses P, well, it's a positive 2, and it's a negative 1. All right. Over here, we're factoring out a 4. 4 divided by 4 is 1, which is good. Negative 4 divided by 4 is going to be negative 1. And negative 8 is divided by 4 is going to be negative 2. So A is equal to 1. B is equal to negative 1. Don't forget the negative sign. And C is going to be equal to negative 2. So what are my factors of negative 2 that add up to negative 1? Well, just a reverse of the last problem, right? We have 1 times negative 2, right? 1 times negative 2 adds up to negative 1 and multiplies to make negative 2. So we're going to bring down this 4. This time it's a positive 1, so V plus 1, and a negative 2, so minus 2. And let's, I guess, just finish it out. We'll call it a day. Okay. Again, here we have a 6, a 66, and a 60, so we're going to factor out a 6. So we have V squared plus 11V plus 10. And again, A is 1, B is 11, C is 10. What are my factors of 10 that add up to 11? Well, I'm pretty sure that's just going to be 1 times 10, right? So again, bring down your 6. It's a V plus 1 and a V plus 10. Okay, I'm going to post some more for you guys to do. There's some old regions questions. They're based straight on this. You guys can go ahead and skip the first one. We have to talk about that a little bit more in one of our special cases. But I will post on the website which problems I expect you guys to do. You don't need to do them all tonight. You could do them between today and tomorrow. So anyway, take a look at what I posted, and thanks for watching.